Hey, Jacob. All right, we're going to do something today
All right.
in a nice, nasty, rainy weather. I
Yep.
don't know if you can hear it in here or not. It's not raining real bad right now. Okay, I got asked a question, very good question, quite a while back by some of my friends uh, with the straight axle mafia. So, Jerry, this is for you. What do you put your secondary jets at on a Holley carburetor?
All right.
So, let's just kind of do a quickie learning real quick about Holley carburetors. All right. If you have one of these, a 4150 carburetor, you have a metering block in the front and the back, right?
Yep.
But look, here's a 4160. What if you have 4160? Well, there's a metering block in the front and no metering block in the back. It's got a plate. And here's another 4160. Now notice people get this wrong. This is a 4150. This is a 4160. Okay? And that's because it has the plate back here. Now this is center hung floats with the dual feed. It came factory that way. And this is side hung with single feed. Okay, but they're both 4150s. So on these we can't adjust the secondary jets. Well, this one we can.
Yep.
Now here's the thing, Jacob. If this has a power valve in the front and a power valve in the back, then you would make the jets the same size. Unless somebody's messed around with it and drilled holes where they shouldn't have drilled, then you should have the same size jets in the front and back. But what if you only have a power valve in the front? How do you decide what's going to be in the rear? That's what we're going to figure out, okay? Now you go ahead and hold that. Now, you can take a 4160 carburetor and buy a plate. Okay, so here's a metering, not a plate, a metering block. This metering block you can now put your jets in. And those jets, how do we decide what side to put in? Notice no power valve. Okay, here's a primary metering block. Primary has the power valve. There's our power valve. How do we decide what to do here? Okay, now you can get a kit, and the kit will allow you to put a metering block in the secondary of a 4160.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get a longer transfer tube here if you have one of these side hung ones,
Mm-hmm.
and put a metering block in the secondary and make your secondaries adjustable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, again, we're going to answer that question. Now here is the metering plate on the secondary of a 4160 carburetor, and its jets are these holes down here.
Mm-hmm.
Now those holes are a specific size, and I'm not sure if this is across the board correct, but there's numbers here, and if you look up those numbers, the numbers tell us that that's a 70 thousandths hole.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is that the right size? Well, we don't know for sure, but that's what came with it. So if we jet this up on the primary, how do we jet it up on the secondary? We can't even do anything here. Well, we can, but we're going to go through that in a minute. Now this has a 7 on it. I don't know if that means 70 or not. I don't care. You just look up these numbers. See the 7? You just look up these numbers on Google and you can find out what plate size this is right here. But now check out this cool little guy here. This is an aftermarket replacement. Quick Fuel makes them. This is an AED, and it now has screw-in jets that you can put in there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you can put this in there, and you don't have to put the metering block in. You don't have to mess with your fuel feed or anything like that. But that gives you the ability to tune your secondaries. So what we need to do is, on 4-barrel carburetors like these Holleys, they're square bores. That means that the primary and the secondary are the same size bores. So that tells us that we should have the same size jet all the way around. There are things that change that jet around though. That could be these air bleeds. If you look down in here, there's air bleeds, and those air bleeds are here also. And that's your idle air bleed, that's your main. These air bleeds for your main should be the same size, primary and secondary. They're not always there, but our formula will get you very close to being on the money. All right.
All right.
Okay, so what we're going to do here is, first of all, this carburetor is 600. These are both 600s, by the way. This 600 here, this metering block came out of a 600. Same exact carburetor, one of these vacuum secondary. There's tons of these. This is probably their most popular carburetor. It came factory with 63 jets. And where the power valve is, those are PVCR, power valve circuit restriction holes, and this is a 50 thousandths drill bit. Okay, so that's how big our holes are here. So now we can't take 50 thousandths. Oh, and let's do this real quick. Download yourself off of Google one of these. This is your jets and how big in thousandths of an inch each jet is. So if you have a jet and you're not sure what size it is, you can stick your pin in there and find out how big that jet is, and it'll tell you what the jet size is here. Okay, this is a close-up of the area that we need. And so if we go to 63 jets, it tells us that our jet size is 62 thousandths. All right, now we got this, which is 50 thousandths in our metering block here in our PVCR holes. This hole and this jet both work together when you go wide open throttle. All right, so we can't just add those two numbers up. We need the area of the numbers. So we got a formula up here, and let's take a look at this formula. All right, so our main jets on the 600 are 63 jets. That equals 0.062 or 62 thousandths of an inch. Okay, so our jet size 62 thousandths. Our PVCR hole equals in thousandths 50 thousandths. Okay, so we've already done the math with the calculator, but here's how you find the area of 62 thousandths. All right, this is important, so listen up and you can take a look. I hope this isn't too confusing for people. You take your orifice size, which in our jet is 62 thousandths, times our orifice size is 62 thousandths, okay, times 7854, and that equals your area. You're going to mark that down. Here's our area right here. 0.0030190. You probably don't have to carry it out that far, but we're going to get it as accurate as we can here. Then we take our 50 thousandths and we do the same thing. 50 thousandths times 50 thousandths times 0.7854 equals our area of our PVCR. That's here. 0.0019635. Now we need to plus those two numbers together. So plus together we're at 0.0049. What is that? 8825776. Okay. So now we've got to convert the area back into thousandths of an inch. Okay, or inches, let's say. So what we do now is we take our area, we divide it by 0.7854, which equals 006344, and then we get the square root of that. And the square root of that is 0.079649231. That's our new jet size for the secondaries. That's your power valve plus your jet. Now remember, if you already have a power valve in the secondaries, you don't need this. So let's go back. Pause.
Alright. So now we're back over here. Alright.
Okay. So we are 0.079 and a half basically. So we have 2.079s. So we have 72 or 73. Typically, most Holleys are about 10 jet sizes bigger on the secondary. All right. Well, which one do we pick? A 72 or 3? Well, we're at 79 and a half, so we'll go with the bigger one. We'll round it up, And we'll go with the 63 jet. Puts us right in at 10 jet sizes different. So we'll have 63 on the primary and 73 on the secondary. Now, the reason that they're the same size, they do flow differently, but they do different angles inside that jet to help that jet flow a little bit more. Okay, so that's what's going on here. That's why 72 and 3, it does flow more fuel, even with the same size orifice. Now, we put our 73 jets in here.
Mm-hmm.
Now our carburetor is squared up for jetting. All right. Now this guy here, this isn't a throwaway. You either put it off to the side, or you can go in there and get a drill that's 79 thousandths, and you can drill that hole 70 to 79 thousandths, and that is going to give you a very close to 72 or 3 jet, and then you're set. Now if you're tuning all the time, this probably isn't acceptable. You're going to want this.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're going to want this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's how we can decide what our secondary jetting should be if we convert to a 4150 style, or if we decide to put one of these replacement plates in there, or just modify our existing plate.
All right.
All right, so there you go. That's how you do it. I hope that's pretty good. Any questions from you, Jacob?
Nope. I learned a lot.
Okay. So, Jacob, what do you do when you like a video?
Like and subscribe.
Fantastic.